Okay, no. What about?
So Kanye West's school Donde, which is now closed, he only went
Sushi. They wouldn't. He refused to teach on the
No,
second
he
floor.
didn't make them eat it. That's all they served.
That's all they served, yeah. And,
Yeah.
Then, and they wouldn't teach anything on the second floor because he was scared of like the second floor.
Heights?
It can only be like on the first floor.
Well, yeah, you got to learn from the bottom up, Ted. Everything's from the bottom up. That's how Kanye started.
Wait, there's tops and there's bottoms. Okay,
no.
I gotcha.
You know, Kanye's mansion is like 47,000 square feet. It's one level. That's it. There's not even any steps.
I like that.
You walk in. It's flat because he's a tripper.
Yeah.
So he doesn't like steps, right? So everything's flat. Yeah, and he just kind of
like the Earth, according to Kyrie Irving, right?
He walks right across the pool.
Yeah, his pool
get to the driveway.
His pool has like literally like a half an inch of water.
It's a Jesus pool.
Yeah.
So it looks like it's really deep, but he walks on water.
Well, it's a Kanye pool. He walks. Yes. Look, he's Kanyeing
That's
across
another
the
word
water.
for a cesspool.
So you know he has a new wife now, and the new wife, of course, looks like the old wife. Like he married.
God,
He married.
please tell me there's not another woman that looks like Kim Kardashian.
There was like no.
Is that a real person? Kim Kardashian?
No, I'm just
I
saying.
don't think so.
There was no publicity around it. Like the next day, he's just like married to like this new chick. Like, oh, this is Kanye West's new wife, and they bring her out, and her name, she's got like an average name, but she looks, of course, like very similar, very Kardashian-esque.
Jen. Is her name Jen?
Jen.
Yeah, not Kim Kardashian.
Yeah.
Jen. This is Jen.
So he married another woman from Iraq or Iraqi descent.
I don't know if she's Middle Eastern or not, but
the Kardashians are from Iraq.
They
they're
say Peruvian.
They're Middle Eastern.
Peru and Iraq are two different places.
You mean
Do know
Persian.
that?
You mean
Persian.
Persian.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
Like a Persian
what our buddy
Persian,
Farhad does.
yeah.
No,
Yeah.
that's
Peruvian.
our buddy Farhad. He's from Iraq, but he says
that's what
he's
they all
Persian.
say, yeah.
He's Persian.
And to be honest with you, I used to know. I don't know them anymore, but I worked and knew a lot of people from a big family from they were Iraq, and they said Persian.
Yeah,
but they're cool as hell, dude. They're a lot of fun, man.
Oh yeah, food's great.
Listen, I
really
love
good food,
no,
man.
I love
Holy
meeting
cow.
people from new places and all that kind of stuff. It's awesome. For a while I was getting my hair cut by some Palestinian guys. Yeah. It was pretty cool. They did the I think I said this before. They did the threading thing.
Threading,
yeah. I wouldn't do it. I was scared.
I know somebody who does that. Once you start, you can't stop.
Did you make the unibrow?
You know what? There were a few people that really needed that. Yeah, they were very unibrow.
I felt the removal of the unibrow.
You know, I felt bad for all those guys. Like back in the '90s, or what year did we invade Iraq? 2002.
92, I think. The first Iraqi war.
Oh,
the
Gulf War. Yeah, the
90,
first one.
91 or 90. Yeah.
Well, I was in college with a guy, and his name was this. I'm going back. I'm talking about after 9/11. This guy's name was Muhammad Hussein.
Yeah.
So I went to school with him. He was a good basketball player.
Yeah,
he was
sure.
tall, so we called him Mo.
Yeah.
Like Mo.
Sure.
No big deal. And then all of a sudden, we invade Iraq and all that. You know, and fucking changed his name to Mark something.
Yeah.
Like,
Mark
I was
Jones.
like,
yeah.
and I saw him. I'm like, "What's up, Mo?" He's like, "Dude, it's Mark now." I'm like, "No, I'm Mark. You're Mo."
Dave Smith, please. Dave.
Well, it's funny. He knew your name was Mark, so why would he change his name to the same name as you? How about like Mike?
Maybe he's into me.
Is that a thing?
What are you doing?
You know what? I screwed up and I didn't put the. I was so busy. So today was a very last minute thing. I had everything written up, and then I lost all my notes for our guest. And so I was running around the house, and so I'm typing everything up last minute. I lost everything, and I forgot to set up the little video for you guys to see Bill and for Bill to see you.
So we're staring at you.
So right now, the only person Bill's going to see right now is me, and
that's fine.
Yeah, and I can
because I got to sing. I don't like when guests watch me sing.
What do you mean?
How about if they watch you use the bathroom?
People hear you though.
Yeah, I don't want them to
that's
hear me
gross.
either. I don't want them to hear me either.
Okay. So you know what? I can successfully tell you that there's times I don't want to hear you either. All right. So
and any day, let me know. I'm waiting for my pink slip.
Any day could be the last day.
It's just like I said, Teddy. Like I said, Three Stooges, man. We just keep adding a different stooge.
Wow.
So you guys heard about this 21-year-old kid and the classified documents, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's talking about this.
Yeah. Well, number one, how did he even have access to it? He's only an airman. Actually, I was in the Air Force, so I was like an airman
No,
first
he had
class.
top secret clearance because he was doing what was he doing? Something monitoring on the computer or something. I don't know. Espionage on the computer. It was a computer thing, Ted.
Okay,
so he got clearance.
So okay, so I totally, you know what? I totally get that. And I don't even want to get into it, right? Because I heard all the stories. He loves gods. He loved guns, God, and gaming. I saw that. Right, he's kind of a.
That's
he seemed
funny.
like-
That's Ted's bumper sticker.
There's. Wait, hold on.
My bumper butt buddy sticker.
yeah.
Is that what you said? All right.
Okay,
I stopped for
he-
bucks.
Here's the thing that freaks me out. So he's big into this, and he's doing all this stuff, and he's really into all this stuff. Did you guys, when you were 21, did you give a shit about anything at all? Did you honestly care? Did you have a strong feeling about anything at all?
When I was 21, I found my ass for the first time. I put my hands behind my back. I'm like, oh, there it is. That's that. See, I was just born. I wasn't even born until I was 35. So I had no ethos, belief system.
You thought your ass was a hole in the ground.
Yeah, so.
You did not know your ass from a hole in the
Yes,
ground.
exactly.
And not till you were 21.
Yeah, I wasn't that sophisticated. Yeah, so.
No, but the thing that gets me is
No, you mean you're talking about somebody who's like really focused and committed and involved in like what his church and all these ideals, right?
right.
Yeah, no, I was not a very idealistic person at the age of 21. I was in college. I liked tail,
Right.
beer.
Like a raccoon tail?
Yeah, that's what he.
Possum-
that's what he
possum
meant.
tail?
Caboose.
What-
Wait,
what-
Mark.
Like Davy
what-
Crockett. I was into Davy
Tail.
Crockett hats.
Caboose. Remember Caboose? We're bringing Caboose back,
Oh.
please. Yeah.
I meant something else.
yeah.
Sorry.
No.
You're a taxidermist?
Yes.
Oh.
That's exactly what he meant, Teddy. He's a gosh darn taxidermist. Yeah. The thing that freaks me out is he was so intense at age 21, and I feel like where do you get that intensity?
There's
Like
a lot of people like that.
at age 21.
Yeah.
Well, you got to figure he grew up with social media, like probably since he was born. So whenever his mom or dad handed him an iPhone or iPad, he had the world at his fingertips, basically. Where in our day, not that we're dated, but we didn't have that stuff. So
Yeah.
Wait. But it doesn't matter. We could have still cared about things.
yeah.
Yeah, I definitely could have cared about things. I just didn't.
Like, what did he care about that you're talking about specifically?
Well, he was super into guns.
Okay.
Okay, he's very, very religious, and he was in control of like this gaming group. Like he was the main man of all these.
Oh
Basically,
yeah,
they were children.
it's like a Dungeons and Dragons, except it's online now. Because back in the day, you'd buy a board game, but it's like some fantasy role play or whatever,
Yeah.
like some chat room, like guys who go on Halo or something. Remember that shoot 'em up game back in the day? Like you'd have your buddies.
It's still
all
very
across
much
the
a very
country.
popular thing.
Yeah,
Ted.
but then
So-
they think the people that they game with are like their buddies, even though they've never met them before, and they just see them at Fort from.
Right.
Right.
So I heard. So what he did is he was taking pictures of a lot of these classified documents, and then first he was stealing them and copying them, and then he was taking. Then he was afraid he was going to get caught, and then he was taking pictures of them. I think on his phone. Then he was posting them when he was gaming to some website or something. I don't know where he was posting them, who he was sharing them with, but they found out that he had way more than he exposed. Like he didn't show everything he had. He had tons more in his possession.
But it seems weird, man. Like I don't understand how. I mean, things aren't important anymore, or just once they're on the computer, just anybody can just like, hey, oh, there it is. Because
People are defending him.
no, not people.
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Marjorie Taylor Greene. She described
Fucking insane.
She described him exactly how I would expect him: white, Christian, male. That's how she
With
looks.
the purpose. They're acting like he
yeah.
did this because of something else, because of Biden.
But that's how
Biden
she
likes wars.
That's how she looks at every single person. I feel like every time she comes across a person, she does this. She looks at him and she goes, black guy, bad. Homosexual, male. Puerto Rican, bad. Like that's it. That's it. Like, that's her thing. Oh, white woman, almost as good as a white man. Yeah. That's the way I.
No, actually, I think the genesis of that is like she's opposed to the war in Ukraine. So this guy allegedly shed light. I didn't read the whole story, but he allegedly shed light on the inner workings about Ukraine, the
they're
U.S.
twisting.
arming
They're
Ukraine.
putting a twist on it for sure.
And
Yeah.
Ukraine's not doing
He's
as good
exposing
as they should.
something, yeah.
They're not doing as good as they should, and they're going to need, of course, billions of dollars worth more of ammunition and aid from the United States. Of course they are, because you think Russia's going away? You think Russia's just going to leave?
No, there's no excuse for somebody
Yeah.
in our country fucking giving away
Yeah.
that information.
But I guess the good news is
There's
that
no reason for
the
it.
information they gave away wasn't like that top secret. It was kind of like
But
common.
he had some.
I mean, he had some, but it was like common knowledge, But
Did you see that
there
they
any
showed the
secrets
picture
anymore?
of him, like the Google Earth picture, a satellite picture, and just before they went to go get him, he's sitting on his back porch reading a book. He's 21 years old.
Did he know? Did he know they were coming?
Yeah, no. This is great. With everything that was going on,
read a book.
he was surprised.
That's
was-
hilarious.
yeah. This is a guy
You
who
just committed espionage, a U.S. military
Oh, man.
installation. What'd you think was going to happen?
and you know it's so funny.
Dipshit.
You read all the. I love reading the comments that people put after this different things.
Those are my favorite. I love the Yahoo comments.
Kill him, string him up.
Yeah.
I'm just like, hold on a second. Let's relax just a little bit, man.
Lower the temperature.
I mean, did 10 billion people die from this? I mean, did he commit genocide?
Did he give away the nuclear codes from the nuclear football that the general carries around with the president? Yeah, he didn't give those away, right?
Right. It just
Alpha,
seemed...
Kilo, Bravo, Tango, Charlie, Tango.
Ted, stop.
What the fuck, dude?
Turn the key. Oh, I'm sorry. That's
no, but
idiot.
Isn't that? Yes. There's three of us here. But yeah, it just seemed like it's just so intense. But think about trying to impress somebody by doing something. I mean, how did he not think he was going to get busted?
Because he's 21.
It's true that is why.
That's
and he's probably in a bubble. He's in his little bubble where he just thinks that
the king of the world.
Yeah, I got the top secret security clearance. Yeah, my supervisor's. He's drinking a cup of coffee in the corner. Not that there's not video cameras like in every square inch of that place, right? Like guarded,
that's the other thing.
Yeah.
They have to have a little keystroke thing. Like I'm assuming that if you hit Control P to print up something, doesn't somebody say Colonel Jeff?
Yeah.
Somebody just printed a whole bunch of shit off.
Yeah.
Oh, it's okay.
So
we
look,
do that.
Look at this. In your average casino, the security cameras can see somebody if they're like up to no good at the craps table or the blackjack table, and that's at a casino, your run-of-the-mill casino. Now, just imagine the clarity of those cameras at like the Pentagon
Ted, I feel like they're not 1080p. I feel like they're 420. Yeah, I feel like it's so standard. Well, no, I mean he gets away with this stuff.
Yeah, he obviously got away with it. So
yeah, I mean, God help us if he had something important like I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the truth about the election stuff.
Mm. Oh, did you? Oh, by the way, did you hear that Dominion just settled with Fox News for $700?
No. Seriously?
Yeah.
$780 billion.
They went
million
to trial
dollars.
today.
No,
so they didn't go to trial.
They didn't go to trial. $760 million settlement.
Yeah, they said the Fox didn't. They said the Fox didn't want to
on
have
the
to
news
admit.
today. They said this one guy said it was such an unprecedented case. They had so much evidence.
I think that's why they didn't want it to.
And it's not even gonna be a benchmark for other cases that are similar to this because this case had so much evidence. It's unprecedented.
Well, how much money does Fox have that they can give away?
Rupert Murdoch,
$750 million.
Yeah.
Just give it away.
Well, obviously he's got insurance for something like that, and blah blah blah. And
so hold on a second. What would that cost? I mean, you have all these idiots who say anything.
Hey, they're still not done either. They're going after my pillow guy too.
Mike Lindell.
Yeah, they're suing him for $1 billion as well.
Well, he went. Yeah. I would tell you that he had a little relapse of the crack, with what he was saying. But he drinks the Kool-Aid. I mean, honest to God, at this point now, I think Trump is way more of a cult thing. I mean, seriously,
way more. It absolutely is.
Yeah, like drink the
Kool-Aid
kind of thing.
But I'm actually curious to see what happens with his case in New York because that the mainstream thought, even whether you like him or not, is that it is a political persecution to harm his pending campaign because if his name wasn't Donald Trump, they would not be bringing these charges.
That's not true. I disagree with that.
But it wouldn't be elevated to a felony.
Well,
it wouldn't be elevated to a felony.
Okay, but on top of that,
in New York,
when you fuck you everybody, when he walks around and fuck yous the whole world, and he keeps saying, did you see he sent out a tweet last night at like 3:00 in the morning saying doubling down? He told Fox, he says, don't settle. Go ahead and tell the truth that all this stuff, all the things you were saying is true, even though he knows that it's not true.
Yeah.
Fox knows that it's not true. All the people know it's not true. He doubled down and just said, tell the truth that all that stuff is. I mean, so I don't know, man. I mean, that's what a cult guy is, right? That's what I mean, he tells you, oh, you know what, God wants all four of you to get naked and start having sex.
Well, that's why people start cults, just for that reason alone. So
that is so creepy. Yeah. Could you imagine? No, I could not imagine this. Okay, so I got one question before we get to Teddy's tips, and then we have our guest. Very soon, this is what I'm kind of gleaning from the different states. Very soon, teachers everywhere will be forced to carry guns in schools. So I have to ask this. Should I match my outfit to my gun or my gun to my outfit?
Ted, this is like the belt match your shoe question. Right?
Yes.
It's like chicken or egg or chicken.
Don't think for a second. My shoes.
No, it's not like the chicken or the egg. We're talking about fashion.
Not which one comes first.
Actually, I would mismatch it so the gun stands out so they obviously see it, right? Unless you have it in a holster inside your pants or something.
Are you going to wear one of those? Are you going to wear one of those?
Mr. Matt, is that a gun in your pocket? Or are you just happy to see
Or you're
me?
gonna have one like on your ankle. You're gonna have like the ankle holster and the one in your waistband. So when you give up the gun, you still got the spare gun in your.
He's just
Okay,
going to have.
so-
He's going to have 6 shooters with the bullets.
You're damn
The
right.
Or
It's
under the- or-
bandolier.
or under
bullets
the-
strapped
Yeah.
across
No,
your.
I'm gonna have a bandolier.
or under the desk where you just have it like they got the shotgun under the desk like
And?
all the mob bosses have that when you walk in.
Yeah,
so.
no. Listen, I'm gonna.
Are you going to ride a horse to work?
Listen, I'm gonna do a whole Clint Eastwood thing. I'm
Go
gonna have
back to the
I'm
Wild
gonna have
Wild
the hat.
West.
I'm gonna have the what do you call it? Like a vest? Was a poncho?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have the poncho. Yeah.
Be like the Three Amigos.
Yeah. I'm gonna do the whole thing. I'm gonna have 2 6-guns on each side.
2 6-shooters.
Yeah, and I'm gonna practice in class while the kids are just sitting around. I'm gonna practice in class spinning them and stuff.
Hang on. My wife's texting me.
Shut up.
Hang on.
Shut up.
She's trying to get an Uber.
Her too? I called her one, Mark. It's okay.
Oh. Okay, and here's the other thing. I want a cool gun because I don't want the mean kids in school to make fun of me.
What about a squirt gun? Can they carry squirt guns with like acid
Filled
in
with
it?
acid.
Yeah.
Acid gun.
Are they regulating what type of gun? Can it be like a dart gun?
What a slingshot.
like a tranquilizer
I like the
gun?
trank
Like
gun.
old school.
No, with the bamboo, you got the hollow bamboo. You trank them.
Yeah.
like in the Amazon. Yeah.
But what about like a bow, like a compound bow,
Yeah.
Oh
like
my
Robin
God.
Hood or
No, like,
crossbows?
Some guy actually killed somebody. I think some guy instead of being he was an assassin, but instead of having like a gun, he had a crossbow, and he
Yeah.
was like actually just
Yeah.
shooting random people with
Oh,
his
man,
crossbow.
this is
Chinese
opening up.
stars. You could just carry Chinese stars.
okay, you know what I'm saying to this? All of it.
Yeah.
All of it. So here's what I'm thinking. 6 guns, a whole thing of
No,
Chinese
six
stars.
shooter, not
6
six
shooters?
guns.
A 6-gun. Isn't it called a 6-gun?
A 6-shooter.
Okay, well, I think we all know
A
what I'm talking
revolver.
about. Yeah. I would like a pretty large like one of those you ever see Predator, the guy with the big machine gun when he just
Yeah,
mows
like a
down
Gat-
like
like a
a-
Gatling gun, like a
no,
Gatling
50
gun,
caliber.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I want a Gatling gun on my back.
Jesse
Yeah.
Ventura had
Yeah.
that, right?
That's it. No.
Or how about,
Oh,
a
the other
bazooka?
guy, yeah.
How about
The
a
other guy.
bazooka? A bazooka, like in the movie Falling Down with Michael Douglas.
my
He's got the bazooka.
Yes.
Law's rocket.
Yes, a bazooka.
Oh yeah. So if a plane flies over, because they fly over where you work, just take it down. I thought it was coming at the school.
Actually, the school was near the airport, Mark. That's why I was there.
Right.
Headed to land.
That's what they had to tell him, Matt. Take it easy on the planes. There's a lot.
Could you
Save the ammo.
could you imagine now all the signs?
Save the ammo for creepy vans that pull in our parking lot.
Yeah, so there'll be no more signs like no guns anywhere.
No,
All
actually-
the schools will have signs that just show a teacher, like a woman, right, like an 80-year-old woman, 60-year-old woman, gray hair with a giant 40. What did Clint Eastwood have?
357 Magnum.
It's a 44 Magnum, the most
44 Magnum,
powerful
yeah.
handgun
Yeah.
in the world. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's got like just a hand cannon.
No, actually, you know what I like?
Do your goddamn homework.
No, you know what you should do? You have so they used to have these signs in the military that if you go into like a restricted area, it says we're authorized to use deadly force. So you have one of those signs that says if you go past this point, we're authorized to use deadly force. So you don't have a gun, you have a tripwire like in Vietnam, and when they hit the tripwire, napalm lands up. So.
Can you threaten the kids with your gun? Like if they're acting up?
It's a
Fucking pull out
you
the
could do
gun and be like,
anything.
hey.
Hey,
Oh.
it's my new pointer.
Yeah.
It's my new pointer.
With a laser.
Yeah. Like this, Bobby, is this the answer on your test? Is
you-
this your pencil?
Did you hear about the elderly bus driver? I don't know what state it was.
no, I didn't.
The dogs are barking, ladies and gentlemen.
So elderly bus driver, I don't know what state it was, but I guess like she's busing like 6 and 7 year olds, I think, to school, and they're really acting up and getting rowdy. So she stops the bus, and I guess like one of the kids is videotaping, and she like reams them out. She goes, "I'm gonna put my foot so far up your fucking ass," and it's great. And I guess it went viral, and I guess she resigned because she was gonna retire anyway.
Why?
But well, I don't know. But the point is, so actually,
Were they little assholes?
They were assholes, yeah. So the cool thing, some guy started a GoFundMe page for her and raised over like $100,000 to help her retirement, which is good for her. Those bastards should get yelled at.
So wait a minute. I go to school tomorrow.
little
I
bastards should get
videotape
yelled.
myself being a total jagoff to kids.
Well, not a
And
jagoff.
I'm going to get $100,000
just the
from a
ones,
GoFundMe.
just the ones that deserve it, which is some of them. Some of them do deserve to get yelled at.
Oh man, you
That's why I
had
said we should bring back corporal punishment.
The only reason
What's the big deal?
Hey, the only reason she got in trouble is because they weren't her kids.
Yeah. But I didn't see the video,
seriously,
but
right?
you got the sweet. The
And
sweet
if my kid was on that bus,
Yeah.
Ted, if your kid was on that bus, wouldn't you be like, "Hey, I'm on her side.
Oh hell yeah!
I mean,
I'm on her side."
She
Oh,
seemed
hell
like she
yeah.
seemed like a nice old lady who just reached her breaking point. 'Cause
Yeah,
you know,
that's what I
kids,
mean,
you
yeah.
can't retaliate or you're gonna get in trouble. Blah blah blah. So it's
we
nice.
can't
So
do anything.
yeah. So but it's nice. She got up there and said, "You little fucking assholes, shut the fuck up."
You know what you have to do? You have to do this. All right. pull the bus over.
Yeah.
Everybody, give me your fucking phones. I got something to say. Give me your phones.
I mean, that's the fair, right? I mean, that's the fair. Here, you heard about those guys? I don't remember what state it is. Some I think it's Tennessee or something. They had a little meeting, and then the reporter. They have a little meeting, and then the reporter's like, "Oh, I know they're going to do something," and he leaves a little voice activated thing on there, and it was just in the news today, and all these guys, all the sheriff and a bunch of guys, all just they're just like, "Hey man, we should kill those." Yeah, I know some guys that'll kill those reporters.
I don't think it was Tennessee.
You know what the worst part?
Oklahoma or something?
Yeah, it was Oklahoma.
Oh yeah,
Oklahoma,
I heard that. I didn't hear that.
Yeah, I think it was Oklahoma, and they goes, "You know what the worst part about our job is? We can't lynch black people anymore." That's what they said.
No. Can it get any? Can it get any worse? Oh, it did get worse. Okay.
But no. Here was their response. They're like, "We want you to, the governor. Everybody's saying you got to resign." Here the guy goes. He recorded us illegally. That's illegal. You can't use that in a court of law. He illegally recorded us.
They're probably saying we're not using it in a court of law.
Yeah,
we're using it right now.
How about the court of public opinion?
Yeah, not like, oh man, I got caught saying all this terrible shit. No, their main focus is that guy did something wrong, and I'm just like, no, you're doing it wrong, buddy.
Yeah,
it's kind of the world's kind of weird, right?
Yeah. But it's like the governor of Virginia, like he's dressed up as the Klansman. We couldn't tell if he was the blackface guy or the Klansman, but it was like some Halloween party for Christmas. And I guess it turns out like 8 or 9 state legislators from Virginia would dress up like the Klan, and it was like no big deal. And then when they'd say, "Oh, this
Halloween,"
or Halloween, some costume party. It's like when Prince Harry dressed up, he put the Nazi uniform on back in like the 90s. Well, he's 2/3 to an imbecile anyway, so
and wait, so
inbreeding?
He's like Ringo Starr. He's the slow one.
Oh my god!
Wait, dude,
is he the bald guy?
No, that's Prince William. He's the main guy.
Which
Prince Harry's the one with the
What
beard.
I predict
no
that
idea.
this show might get deleted.
He's the one married to
Why?
Meghan Markle.
I don't know. Ted's going.
Ted's going to a dark place.
He just said
it's just a
the
royal
royal
family,
party was inbred.
I never said that.
They are. I'm glad. You know what? I'm actually glad that we don't live in Europe and that kind of stuff and have like a king and have to deal with all this stuff.
Oh, by the way, it's going to be his coronation soon. So I mean, I'm going to admit I might have to watch a little bit of that because I just like the pomp and circumstance.
Just to see if something explodes.
Just to see
what kind of horror.
Just to see if he trips over the red carpet.
Somebody went to Benny's. There's a lot of beer in here.
There is a lot of beer. I did take a trip to Benny's.
A lot of clinking.
Yeah.
Clinking
listen.
there.
So we got to get this thing started because our guest is
a sponsor.
Yeah, just relax, man.
Okay, let's go. Let's get this moving.
Okay. Hey, everybody. My name is Matt, and this is the Real Three Idiots podcast. With me, as always, is a man who, when he doesn't want to drink, drinks beer. Teddy.
Happy Tuesday.
You were
Good morning.
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Good morning, Vietnam.
You were golfing with us on Sunday, right? Teddy.
No, I wasn't there.
Yeah, you were.
Was that me?
Yeah, it was you.
Who was?
Maybe you were drunk.
Yeah, you were there because Teddy comes out on the first hole. And he's like,
I shot an 82.
Yeah, I shot an 82.
Oh yeah, you did.
Shoot an 82.
No, I shot a 101.
You shot an 82, but then you kept on going.
101.
Yeah, no, and Teddy walks out. First hole.
Yeah,
he's
you
walking
gave
down.
up after 82, and I kept going.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you did. I didn't need to go past 82.
Yeah.
But Teddy says, "Oh man, I am not drinking today," and he pulls out a Coors Light. I was like, "That's drinking. That is absolutely drinking." Just so you know. Okay, and a man who, for the first time ever, right now, is not wearing a hat, and I did not even know you had hair, Mark.
I thought you were going to say underwear.
What?
You didn't even know that my hair was almost to my shoulders.
You have a hat all the time.
That's why I was wearing a hat, but it sticks out of my head. It was fucking long.
But
as
I didn't know
hell.
you had a skull because I couldn't see the top of your head. I thought you had I thought your head stopped right there with your eyebrows.
I got to tell you something. I didn't get my hair cut for almost 8 months.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I couldn't do it, man.
I know.
I don't like combing my hair. I don't like having hair.
It sucked. I wore a hat all the time.
I want the bare minimum. I don't like wearing a hat.
I'm itchy now.
I don't like wearing a
I
hat.
gotta shave.
What? Oh man, Teddy.
I like this though.
Yeah, Teddy. How long did you go without
6
wearing?
months.
6 months.
6 months. Yeah,
he looked ridiculous.
Yeah, we saw.
Yeah, he looked.
He's got great hair.
Yeah, either he
great
was going to
head
get
of
his hair cut, or I was going to cut it for him.
Or pull it out.
Yeah.
Cat fight.
Yeah. All right, so we got to get rolling here. I'll do our sponsor. Then you have a song this time, Mark. You did your job.
Yes.
Oh, okay, good. Okay. Do you love Bud Light but don't want to get mixed up in the controversy or have friends ask questions you'd rather not answer? You don't have to worry anymore. Anheuser-Busch is proud to announce Bud Straight. It's all the mediocre taste of Bud Light, but now our cans look like cans. That's right, women's cans. Yep. That's right. All the new Bud Straight cans are shaped like boobs. Now you can have your favorite beer and feel like a man. Don't let your homophobia stop you from enjoying a moderately decent beer with your buddies. Buddies you definitely don't think about when you're having sex with a woman. Bud Straight. Lesbians like it too, but only the hot ones.
They're putting it. It's at the bowling alley.
Yeah, I love it.
So here's my question: why would Budweiser so they promoted this trans person, from what I understand, to show that they're all inclusive? But isn't just beer all inclusive anyway? Because they just sell it at the liquor store. Anyone can buy it. It's like they
No.
card you if you're 21. They don't card you based on your.
Absolutely not. So
Ted.
Bud Light is only sold
Oh.
in places where men could never possibly be homosexual in any way, shape, or form.
Oh.
None of them.
Because I've seen it all over the place.
No, Ted.
Ballparks.
No, the marketing
Nope.
plan
Liquor
is you have to
stores.
market this beer to think that nobody different than you is actually going to drink this beer.
Yeah.
And the people brewing it will never allow somebody different than you
I'm
to
not
drink
that
it.
advanced.
Absolutely.
I just see the beer and I get it. So
I got a
Yeah.
song. I got a song.
No. Okay. So yeah. Okay. Go ahead. I'll tell you the story about I'll tell you a story about that at some point. So yeah. Go ahead, Mark. Sing your awesome song, please.
Sometimes in my head at night, I curse his words and I play for the fight. And sometimes the fight's no consolation. Blinded by his memory, afraid of what he might say to me. And his tears and his sweat only mock his concentration. Don't you know me? I'm the Ted next door. The tips you find so easy to ignore. Is that what we've been asking for? Ted's tipping on a podcast. Straight off an outcast, labeled as weird. He's loose on the air in the city. Tipping on a podcast. Angry, but it won't last. Take a look at his words and see what it's doing to me.
very
Wow.
nice.
I got a second verse.
Wait, but I mean, do you really? You could, but you don't
Actually,
have to.
You know what?
That was really
I want
good.
to see you in a karaoke bar.
Could you just say karaoke? I swear to God.
Is it
Could you just
karaoke?
fucking say
Is it
karaoke?
karaoke? I forgot. I always get those words. It's like
Walking on a thin line.
it's like Svengoolie,
Angry
Svengali.
all the time.
Some type of Svengoolie. Svengali.
You know what?
Berwin.
Oh, remember that? Yeah. Rich Kaz. He was Svengali.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I
Yeah.
know him. I know him.
He was on the air
Yeah, we're
forever.
actually. You know what? I'm
Actually, I told you to.
I'm
Matt
trying-
reached out to him.
I'm
yeah.
reaching out to.
Get Rich Kaz
Yeah,
on the show.
I'm
He's a
reaching
Park
out
Ridge
to him.
guy, man.
Is he
I'm
really?
reaching out to him, man. You know what?
Wow, I don't
you
know
what?
anything.
I don't know if you guys know this, but sometimes I get
In my
people
bed at
and they
night.
listen. They listen to the show and then they say, "Hell no, I will not come on
All right.
this giant shit show."
I respect that.
Rubber chicken.
Yeah.
And then you correct him and said it's actually a dumpster fire, sir. Get it right.
You know what? I've always wanted to start a dumpster fire.
And God bless.
Can we do the song over again? I messed
Absolutely
up.
not. Absolutely not. No chance. Never, never, never. Okay, Teddy, here is your tip. Are you ready?
Yeah, it was a little confusing, but yeah.
Okay,
so let's-
Ted, I need your help. My friends do the same thing to me that Matt and Mark do to you. I give them good advice, and they scoff at it and say it doesn't make sense or is too elaborate. Since that happens to you a lot, and I think your advice is great, by the way, how can I get them to listen to me?
Well, the man's a genius. Number one. My anonymous friend out there in the cyber world. Number one, Matt and Mark are not my friends. They're my acquaintances. So therefore,
Dick.
when
We're
they-
like AI.
yeah, yeah.
No, we're like,
Artificial idiots.
no, we're like F you, Ted. Yeah.
So anyway,
Is that it?
No,
We're done?
okay.
So,
All right.
So,
I guess
no,
so.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, so I did write something down that it might be redundant because I probably said this several episodes ago, but it seems to fit this potential
Wait.
tip.
I'm reading it, and he labeled it tip. And then it begins. It says tip.
It says, okay, so when you give advice that, number one, obviously all advice might not be good. Advice is like pornography. It's subjective, right? I mean, what people find offensive. No, seriously, it's like comedy. It's like comedy.
Are you saying advice is like pornography?
That's what he said.
No, advice is like comedy or pornography. It's like subjective.
That's our T-shirt, folks.
It's
It's going to
subjective.
be online.
Oh my
It's subjective because, some people really love it. Some people really hate it. Some people get really offended.
Do people? No.
You
People
know, it's
don't-
like
No one
pornography?
hates pornography. No one hates pornography. Okay, they say they hate pornography.
Yes, okay.
They don't really hate pornography.
Everybody likes pornography. Never mind.
Well, it depends what type of pornography
Okay,
we're talking
okay,
about.
no,
Anyway,
keep going.
So
keep
anyway,
going.
so the tip to my friend out there, and I appreciate the kudos, is that give your tip. Just don't elaborate. Just give the good advice you can based on the situation at hand. And those who don't like your tip, like it goes back to what I said earlier, those who demand an explanation, never tell them. They wouldn't understand anyway. Those who understand, no explanation is needed. And number 3, you can't help everyone. Help those you can. Leave the rest to their own devices and have some laughs watching them make bad life decisions.
Why do you do it? You
and
always,
get some popcorn.
You always
I
do
had
it.
to write that down.
Yeah, you
I literally had to take notes just now. It's so funny.
you can
It's
just listen to the
hilarious.
show.
Just give you that page.
I will listen to the
Yeah.
show again. I do listen to the show.
Oh no, so
some
do I.
people.
So do I. Listen, I
and
listen.
don't give unsolicited advice. That's the worst advice is unsolicited. So obviously, if no one's asking you,
That sounds like you're giving me unsolicited advice because that's not part of the advice. Wait.
I was guilty of that too.
Come on, everyone gives unsolicited advice.
Sure, but I mean, don't be overbearing about it. We all give advice when we probably shouldn't. But it's well-meaning at the time. Maybe you don't mean to do it. But I'll give you an example. So I was golfing, I don't know, not too long ago, and I wasn't playing good, which is normal for me. And whoever I was with, not you guys, of course,
What?
came up to me.
Wait, you golfed? You son of a bitch! You golfed without me?
This is it's a lie now.
Yes, this is a long time. I don't
This
even
is like when Trump says, sir.
They all cried.
Sir.
they all cried.
They
about
all
it.
cried.
They came to me and said,
Well, actually,
sir.
no. The funny thing, you might have been there, but it wasn't you.
That's his tell.
Yeah,
I was golfing
yeah.
with some other people, not you.
So wherever we were, you might have been in the vicinity, but I was golfing, and then somebody, I can't even remember who it is, it's been so long ago, but came up to me and just started unsolicited, hey, you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong, which obviously creates more anxiety because I'm not going to be able to self-diagnose within if I've been screwing something up all day, I'm not going to stop screwing it up and become a scratch golfer because somebody said, oh, you're lifting your head or you're doing this. I'm like, oh, why don't you say so? Now I'm going to shoot 4 under par for the next 6 holes.
It's kind of like what happened
Actually,
to me on Sunday,
yeah.
Ted. Remember?
I didn't try to help you.
I didn't help you.
Ooh,
Who
okay.
tried to help you?
I did not try to.
It's not my. I mean,
I think our guest is on. Let's move
Yeah.
on. Let's
Okay.
move on.
I did not try to help you. Well, you know what, Teddy? This might help you because our guest is actually a sports coach.
cool.
Okay. All right. So let's do this. Our guest today is a former professional tennis player. For 30 years, he ran the Charlotte Tennis Academy, and he is the author of a really cool book, Sports Parenting, Creating an Environment for Success Without Going Batshit Crazy. Bill Schillings. Bill, welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Hey guys, how are you?
Good.
How are you? Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thank you. Man, I loved, and by the way, before we get started, I loved your book. That was awesome.
Thanks.
Absolutely.
Thanks for reading it.
Yeah, really cool. I mean, I did not buy it. I hope you don't get mad. I'm a library guy. I'm like the last person in the world, and I still use the library.
You're a microfiche guy.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm probably one of the few people in the whole wide world. I last week I went into my library, and they put a crown on me. I don't know if you know this because nobody goes to libraries anymore. Yeah, I got a crown. I got a scepter. They put you in a chair and drive you around to your book and stuff. Yeah. And then I said, I don't understand the Dewey Decimal System. And they said, we don't use that
don't use
anymore.
it anymore,
It was
yeah.
pretend.
I hated that
It was all pretend. It was all pretend. All right. So Bill, I loved your book. Why don't you give us a really quick, why don't you give us an idea? What's the book, the short version? What's the book about? Just so everybody knows.
The short version is that the main thesis of the book is that sports parenting is a little tough, is a challenging dynamic to manage for parents because there's a lot of dichotomies involved. Some of the things I put in the book, dichotomy between, let's just say, focusing on outcome versus focusing on process, getting into a sprint mentality versus a marathon mentality, focusing on who your kid's competing against and comparing them to that kid versus what kind of character they're developing. So there's each chapter is just a different dichotomy that parents, I'm trying to bring attention to the fact that they need to be aware of those dichotomies. And a lot of the parents that I've dealt with over many years in coaching tennis either weren't aware of the dichotomies or they'd be way too far on the wrong end of the spectrum.
So so you start out your book with some cautionary tales, right? I mean, that's one of the things you kind of go through a couple of things, and the kind of like the two kinds of parents that you kind of start with. It seem like with parents that either live through their kids or push them to like insane levels. So why would somebody? I mean, when you start with that, why are people doing that? Because that seems very prevalent nowadays.
Well, like I said, actually the first chapter is called um, in, uh, instincts versus. And I've got to look at my own book to remember.
I was just wondering. It sounded like you were having trouble with that.
It's been a while since I wrote it, guys. All right, yeah. So it's to answer the question, it's inclinations versus effectiveness. So the main premise there, which answers that question, is a lot of folks, when you're a young parent, there's no magic book that you can read. So a lot of times you just go on based on what feels right to you. And a lot of parents, as we all know, it's pretty easy to live through your kid vicariously, as I pointed out in some of the stories, or just kind of go with what your gut is. And a lot of parents' guts are really to get into it. And that takes you too far down the road in the wrong direction.
And Bill, this is Mark. Do you think a lot of it has to do with many parents? And I've coached a lot of baseball and basketball throughout the years. My boys are a little bit older now, but a lot of parents have unrealistic expectations of the abilities of the kids rather than allowing. I mean, so they want the kids to do better than the kids actually want to do themselves. The kids want to go out there and rec league or travel ball, just play and have fun with their friends. The parents want their kids to be successful in every aspect, every minute they're in the game. So a lot of it falls. Do you think it's a lot to do with unrealistic expectations on the parents' part?
Yeah, now that you're making me think about my book a little bit, I'm just starting to come back to me.
Are you sure it's your book?
There's a section.
I'm kidding.
There's a section in there that I wrote that comes to mind. It's I think the subtitle is Can my kid become a pro? I had a dad one time. He came out to clinic. He had a 10-year-old kid who was had some good skills, but at the same time his kid was taking a lesson. I had the bigger kids playing matches. They were like 16 to 18-year-old kids, and these kids were all like, I don't know, top ranked state kids, maybe sectional kids, not national level kids yet. But this kid's dad, the kid was only 10. He came over to me in the middle of clinic and he said, "Hey, how many of these kids that I'm watching right here are going to be pro tennis players?" And yeah, that was kind of my first reaction in my head. I'm like, wait, dude, this isn't even close. But to answer your question, I think you don't know. I mean, to him, those kids looked insane.
Yeah.
He's never seen pro tennis. He's never watched college tennis. So to him, he just doesn't know better.
Yeah.
And that's really the main answer to the question is you just don't, in parents' defense, I mean, if your kid is 12 and they are, let's take baseball. I mean, they're just dominating. We always have that in Little League, right? I played Little League.
Yeah.
I have Little League stories in the book. I mean, there's some 12-year-old kid. He's pitching. He's incredible at the plate. And a lot of the parents go, well, this is obviously, if he can dominate at this level, he clearly is going to be able to dominate at every level.
It's the next Babe Ruth.
And
it
turns out he's 17.
It's actually more ignorance than anything. Then I mean, a lot of parents are ignorant to the fact that no one's going pro.
They're just hoping. They're just hoping for the best, because they're just see that small sampling of them dominating at this level. But obviously, that's just a very small sampling of what they have yet to face. Because obviously, the older you get, the competition. It's like playing Division I college or something. It just gets harder as you go along.
So Bill, let me ask you this then, because you played pro tennis. If somebody's gonna, in your coaching, if somebody's gonna be a pro player, let's just say that your kid's playing at a high level, is it something that where you need to have a coach that played at that level to understand and know? I mean, even if I'm the world's greatest coach, if I've never played at the pro level of what I'm coaching, do I even have the ability to understand and know if a kid's good enough? Or do you need that person like you? Do you need a former baseball player, a former tennis player, or a former football player to help you get to that level?
So let me get the question. Are you saying if I want to play pro tennis, let's say I want to be Carlos Alcaraz or Daniel Medvedev or Nadal, right?
Okay.
Is the question, do I need a coach that's played at that level?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, is it something that would make a
Yeah.
difference? Like for me to know, like for me to walk up to you and say, hey man, I think my kid's really freaking good, man. And for you,
Yeah.
if you haven't played at that level, can you even judge that? Or do you need to play at that level like you did to be good?
Let's put it this way. I'd say it certainly helps to have a coach who has either played at that level or been exposed to that level. Some of the best coaches, though, man, I mean, you don't have to be a great player to be a really good coach. So, the best coach I ever had uh, probably didn't get to the level I maybe did, but he was an incredible coach and he was around it all the time. He was coaching pro players, he was around pro tennis. So it's a really interesting question because, if you look at the top level pros on tour right now, I mentioned this kid, Carl. I don't know if you guys are tennis fans or not, but the new Nadal they're saying is this kid Carlos Alcaraz, right?
I've
He's
seen
number
him play.
one right now.
I have seen him play. Yeah.
And he's got a coach, Juan Carlos Ferrero, who made it, I believe, to number one for a very short period of time. But he's not, Alcaraz is going to be better than he was. And I think he would agree with that. But I just in that one case, I think it helps that his coach has been around that. But let's face it, if you're coaching Federer, you can't be as good as Federer, but you can still be a good coach.
Well, what's Teddy's favorite line? Because we golf all the time. Teddy's favorite line is that Lee Trevino said he could never have a coach that he could beat. If he was better than his coach, then how could he possibly?
Well,
help him?
he said he wouldn't take a lesson from someone who couldn't beat him.
Yeah,
that's just one guy. I mean,
yeah,
so.
yeah. But I feel like
Yeah, I think that really speaks to credibility. Like, you have to, as a coach, with your student, really early in the process, establish credibility. Now, you can establish it by just kicking their butt, right? I mean, you get on the court and that's one way to do it. But another way you can establish credibility is just have a great track record with other players. And I think if we're talking about really high level pro tennis, I suspect that that's what a lot of the pro players are looking for. I mean, not a coach that can beat them, but a coach who has credibility in their eyes.
Yeah, well, like if you look at NBA coaches, I mean, they're like, look at I remember Frank Layden used to coach the Utah Jazz. He was like a short, stocky guy who obviously never played basketball a day in his life, but he coached for several years. So that's a good example of, you're a good coach, but I'm sure he was never a former player of any capacity. Other than just maybe pick up.
You don't know that. Don't be mean.
Okay.
Don't be mean. Okay. So Bill, when the parents are having trouble, what are some of the things that bad parents do that really make it difficult for their kids to play? What are some of the things that have just stood out over, the 30 plus years that you've been doing this? What are some things that the bad parents do?
I think the first thing that comes to mind is they don't shield their emotions. They live like they're living in the moment with their kid. And those are the kind of parents that are always making like their body language is always, changing with every point. If it's tennis, whatever, it could be any sport, but every time their kid does something wrong, they jerk, or they, turn in their heads, or, I think parents need to get that they're performing just as much as their kids are when the kids are out playing. And performing means sometimes you have to be a really good actor. And the parents that make the biggest mistakes, I think, are parents that don't get that they're in a performance just like their kid is. It's just a different thing that they're performing at.
Yeah, I mean, that is one of the hard things because, I mean, I know Mark's son plays baseball. Teddy's daughter plays rugby at a pretty high level, right? She actually got a tryout to be a pro.
Right.
Right, she
correct.
got to try out to be play pro rugby, and my son played baseball for a long time, and that was, I tell you, one of the things that made me happy is, number one, when I stopped coaching my son, and then at that whatever age he was, when I stopped being that guy who, when we got in the car, would just start critiquing him and being a total asshole about it.
Yeah.
Oh, was that
Right?
you?
Yeah,
Okay.
I didn't do it a lot.
Oh, I'm guilty too.
I didn't do it a lot, but Jackson, if Jackson was sitting here right now, there'd be times when he would say, yeah, you know what, we sat in the car and you talked about my 3 strikeouts. You didn't talk about the 3 good plays I made, or you didn't, I had 1 bad game out of the last, 7 bad games, and you just talked about that for, the half hour on the ride home. And yeah, I wished, that we ran into something and your airbag went off and caused you to urinate on
I'll
yourself.
tell you the one thing that I always talk to my boys about. It was basketball, not baseball. You said baseball.
Oh, I'm sorry, basketball
That's
for your
fine.
sons.
They played baseball a lot too, but both my boys play basketball at a high level. My youngest now is in high school. They don't play AAU ball anymore. They stopped after 7th grade. So they just train and just work out and they play with their team and stuff like that when it's not season. But the thing that made me angry is when they were playing travel ball at a young age, it cost a lot of money. And the thing that made me angry was effort and energy. I didn't care how good they were. I just cared about the effort that they put in. And I think a lot of times that's what upset me the most. I'm always a guy, I never said a word. I kept my mouth shut. Like, Bill, you were talking about body language and everything. For me, the kids aren't looking in the stands as much. They're listening more and then looking in the stands. I had to sit way away from everybody and just watch, because I would not say a word. But a lot of parents in basketball specifically are insane with words. They scream. Tennis is different, right? There's not a lot of yelling during match play, correct?
Yeah, and I think that it's a really good point on the, you asked what the biggest mistakes are. I mentioned kind of the body language, and of course you hit on the number 2 is putting yourself in the position where you're always coaching, you're always evaluating.
Yeah, you're audible.
But yeah, I think soccer games and basketball games where it's like sanctioned, in tennis it's a little bit more reserved, you know. So the parents aren't screaming from the sidelines. But yeah, I really struggle. I used to go to some soccer games to watch the kids play, and just the screaming from the sidelines. It's also a coaching thing. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I always laugh when I just watch the NCAAs and I'm watching some of the coaches on the sidelines. It looks like they're going to bust a blood vessel or something.
Crazy.
And
it's
I'm
insane,
like, if I'm playing, I wish I'd like an explanation for that, because there's some great college basketball coaches. I'm like, guys, I'm a big fan of John Wooden, right? Most anybody who studied coaching should study John Wooden.
Yep.
10 championships, UCLA.
Yeah, and they say that Wooden, hardly even got out of his chair when he was coaching, because he figured he'd done all the work in practice.
That's exactly right.
Those guys, he's prepared them. You guys go out and execute. And if things aren't going right, we'll go back and practice, and I'll coach you up. And I've always loved that as a model. He was a little bit before my time. I wish I could have watched him coach live games, but I think
you're right. A lot of coaches nowadays should look into him, because his big line was, if I have to tell him during the game, I've not done my job. I'm not. It's too late now.
Yeah, no. I see all the screaming. Here, I'll give you an example. A friend of mine, very good basketball coach. He coached high school boys. Sorry, a different guy. He coached high school boys and high school girls, and finally he quit coaching the boys, and he just went with the girls. And it was this very simple thing. He said, here's a difference. He goes, if you want to get to the boys, he goes, I felt like I had to scream all the time. He goes, with the girls, if I yelled at them, they literally shut me out. Yeah. He goes, so I didn't have to do any of that. They would come to the sidelines. He goes, during the game, I didn't really have to say anything. They would ask what play, and I would yell out what play we're running. That's it. Then when they come to the sidelines, they all sit down, and we'd have this very subdued, all right, don't forget, to do this and this and this. And he realized at this point that there was no more yelling. That was it. He just there was no more yelling. There was no more screaming.
As a coach, he no longer had to raise his voice during games.
But I mean, I tell people this, and I tell people this. I'm like, do you really want somebody to scream at you to tell you what to do?
Well, unlike sports is like work, it's like life. I mean, nobody wants to get screamed at. I mean, it's just so unnerving and it's so ridiculous. I mean, there's no good. I mean, who actually responds positively to being like yelled at, like
belittled and yelled at.
Yeah. It's all especially with kids. It's all about positive reinforcement. You just talk to them in a calm voice. Maybe after the fact, exactly. If they're messing something up during the game, chances are, unless it's if it's a fundamental thing with their technique, it's probably not going to be corrected in the course of that game.
No,
so
nothing gets fixed in a game.
It's like a golf. I mean, if you're not swinging the ball well, you're not going to magically become a scratch golfer halfway through your round.
All right, so Bill, let me ask you this: they did a study and they talked about the worst parents and the sports. Okay, and they went through this. And you tell me this is the rank from first, from number one. They said the worst sports parents are. It goes baseball, and this one blew my mind. Cheerleading, then tennis, gymnastics, hockey, figure skating, football, and golf. That those were the worst parents. Like those parents, not necessarily at the games, but that they were just really, really difficult, really, really hard on their kids. Does that sound like in what you're doing? Because you obviously have talked to other coaches. Does that kind of sound like the top sports when you think about that?
What was the number one? What was it? Give me that list.
Baseball, cheerleading, tennis.
Huh. Yeah, that's an interesting study. I hadn't heard that. I think that I'm surprised at baseball, but I don't know. It seems to me the more individual the sport is, the more the parent dynamic can get involved. I don't know. I don't have a real solid feel for why that is. I know for me, and I have some stories in the book about it with my dad, because I was a Little League baseball player, and kind of getting back to the effort and energy thing. My dad was really big on that, but even that, you have to be kind of careful because, I would have a great game, but if I didn't like hustle on and off the field, that was like a thing for my dad. I'd play a perfect game and we'd be driving home one night and he's like, man, why didn't you run on and off the field fast enough? And I'm like,
But but they just actually benched a guy. I think he's actually playing for the Cardinals. Like he's like the star. They actually benched him because like he didn't run hard enough to first base on a ground out or something. So I mean, so it's actually So
okay, but
he's a pro though. That's
he's still getting his contract. Yeah, sure, I guess. Yeah. So.
But that seems like something. That seems like something you deal with like individually, like when coaches, like in the pros, when a coach is screaming at somebody,
like Mike Ditka.
It just seems so weird to me because I'm just like number one, that guy is making ridiculous amounts of money,
more than the coach.
Yeah. And you really believe that screaming at him is going to get him to play better? There's no way that's going to happen. It just seems like such a weird thing. But here, I'll give you an example. The gym that I work out at, okay, the guy is going to give me free access for a year if I work a couple of days or 1 day a week for just a couple of hours, calming parents down during games. He said that it's gotten out of control where parents are screaming at children that are reffing, and they're going out on the court and doing things in basketball and volleyball and soccer. He says it's really gotten out of control. Do you I mean, are you seeing that when you're doing stuff? Are parents getting like more vocal and more angry?
Yeah, I think for when I'm out there, and of course I only have so much exposure, in the world that I'm in. But I think it's like most things. Honestly, most of the time you go out. I was out this afternoon at a high school tennis match, right? And I walk in. I knew I was going to talk to you guys, and I'm like, I wonder if some parent's going to go nuts tonight, just so I can talk to this guy. But honestly, for the most part, it's everybody's kind of under control. Everybody's fine. I think we all tend to fixate on the edge of the spectrum type people. And there are some people clearly, I think as a society, maybe it's getting worse. And there's some really egregious situations that you hear about. And I know they're out there, but for the most part, I think most parents are just trying to do the best they can with their kids. And honestly, I've dealt with so many parents over the years when I mention this, first of all, they get really defensive really quickly, right? When I would say, hey, let me give you a call and let's talk about the tournament last week and we talk about how you can help your kid a little bit better. And then they'd be like, well, am I doing something wrong? Am I, am I a problem? So I think parents are really sensitive, sports parents, to the stereotypical, I don't want to be that sports parent. And that's kind of why I wrote this book, because a lot of the parents that I dealt with, I could see that they really just wanted to do it well, but they didn't necessarily have a lot of guidelines about how to think about it, you know?
So I know you said that like every kid and every parent should read this book. When you're talking about like kind of like mid-level sports, when a kid starts out and they're 5 or 6, I mean, should every park, every school, every person have like a meeting with the parents to tell them like I did a little research and tell them this: your kid has about as much chance of being a professional athlete as they do of getting struck by lightning. Would a statement like that immediately to start out just kind of like help people understand like where the reality concept is?
If you have to tell them that, they don't want to hear it.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, a lot of the tennis tournaments, especially the higher levels, a lot of times they'll start the tournament with a player meeting, and they'll have a parent meeting at the beginning, and they'll do stuff like that. They'll lay out the stats and maybe give a few do's and don'ts. But parents sometimes, think about it. Parents are going to parent their kid the way they want to parent their kid. And they don't like to have somebody else tell them how to do that. So I found that doing the whole list thing, don't do this and do this instead, really, number one, it kind of goes in one ear and out the other, because, you don't tend to remember a lot of lists. So that's why when I structured what I wanted to put together for folks, I did it more with concepts and principles, and then hopefully if a parent's receptive enough, they can kind of like, they take ownership of it and think it through themselves. And then, because every situation is so different, every kid is different, every parent's different, and there's just no way to set 10 rules to success for sports parenting. It's not going to work like that. And so that's why I think a lot of parents tune it out.
No, that makes sense. So in the book, you talk about how competitive and self-critical you were. Okay, and I know you run across. I'm sure you run across lots of kids like that, because I mean, and we're like that, right? I mean, how many times? I mean, Teddy and Mark, how many times have we're going out and we're playing basketball, we're playing golf or whatever, and we say those magic words that I'm getting better at not saying. Oh man, I suck, or I can't do this today, or whatever it is. When you run into a kid who's obviously got talent, or even whatever age, and they're super competitive, but they're super self-critical. Are there some things that you can do to help fix them? Like I know there's a lot of parents, there's probably a lot of people listening, right? And you're like, oh man, that's my kid. My kid's pretty good at whatever they do, or moderate, whatever, but they're really, really self-critical. How can I fix that?
All right. Well, that is exactly what I've been around. First, for a long time, I'd say the first thing to remember, if your kid is wired hyper competitive, and you as a parent are wired hyper competitive, you got to remember, it's like throwing fuel on the fire if you're on the sidelines getting all worked up about the kid in tennis, making 3 unforced errors.
Yeah, it's
right?
Who's the adult in the room? Yeah, who's the adult in the room? If someone's hyper, if everyone's hyper.
And that's what I mean by you got to keep yourself in check. You've got to act. You might be going crazy inside, but you've got to your presence and body language cannot project that, especially if you have a hyper competitive kid. The second thing, and I'm just picturing kids and being on the court with them, and the exact type of kid. First of all, the kid's not going to be good in a competitive sport unless they're wired competitive to some degree. So, for me, I'd have a typical 12, 13-year-old boy who is throwing his racket and starting to swear, and he can't make 2 errors in a row without going bonkers. the first thing I would do is, first of all, remind myself to stay really calm, because if you're coaching or parenting a kid like that, sometimes your energy level starts to go up to match theirs. And so I would always just try and remind myself, just chill, bring the kid to the net. And the first thing I'd do would be to affirm them and say, dude, you want to win and you want to get better. That's what makes you good. But what you're going to have to, we need to teach you about is how that's not helping you play better. And so let's talk about some strategies that you can use to calm yourself before the next point. And then you get into all the sports psych stuff, the rituals, the self-awareness, the breathing, the visualization, all that stuff. And that's when it's a teaching opportunity when the kid's losing their mind.
It's funny, Bill. You actually reminded me of a story. I thought there was a commercial I saw a few years ago. So John McEnroe obviously was very famous for throwing tantrums on the court, slamming his racket, berating referees. But then they had a commercial with him, years later when he was obviously long retired. He was going to the various referees' house, and of course they all seemed to live in France or something. He was knocking on their door and actually apologizing to them. 20 years after the fact, he goes, "I just want to know." He goes, "Answer the question, jerk." Remember that one? I love that one.
So let me ask you this then. If a kid is, and I'm just going to use this term, if a kid is like a total asshole on the court, okay, where he's just throwing and swearing and being a total jag-off about everything.
Jeff George or Ryan Leaf?
Yeah.
Tennis?
But is that something like can you turn that into a positive? Or if a kid is like that, is he or she going to be less likely to be good? I mean, does that become a point where you're just so much of a turd that you kind of defeat the purpose of your own talent? Have you seen that?
Yeah, but a couple things come to mind. Number one is you got to keep in mind that the maturity level of the kids you're dealing with. I was just talking with my buddy who coaches a local high school team. We were talking about some kids over the years, and typically I'm going to take a teenage boy at 12, 13, 14, and they are just out of control, right? When I was early in my coaching career, I would literally be working with those kids and thinking, look, if we can just keep him out of juvie until, he's 16, I mean, I'd be pumped. But here's what would happen with that kid. He'd get to be 16 or 17, and he just naturally start to mature. And this one kid I was talking about with my buddy today, that we both knew, he was that kid at 12 or 13. Nobody around thought he was super talented, just like you're talking about. Really national level kid, really talented. But I mean, he was just a nightmare for a period of time. But you know what? By the time he's 17, 18, he's matured. We've worked with him. He's got a lot of tools. He ended up playing D1 college tennis for 4 years. He's a productive member of society today. It's all good.
Yeah, so that is a low bar right there. Productive member of society.
It's just the face. It's just the face. It's just the face.
Based on where we started, we were wondering. Yeah. But I think that's important to remember. The maturity level of the kids is going to change. And I think what we do sometimes is we just watch these kids in isolation. You watch a kid have a meltdown on the court, and you want to label them a basket case. But I found that, honestly, that's what coaching was for me. It's pretty easy to coach the kid who's, just the perfect model kid. Can you figure out ways to get a kid like that to work with them to bring out their talent and help them control their inner fire? I mean, that's the whole thing.
No, I like that. And so I laughed. I don't know how many times you did this, how you use Cesar Millan, the dog guy, analogies in your book. It was really funny, okay? But how do you bring how does the Cesar Millan thing when you're coaching, how does that come in? Because I people are going to read this book. Hopefully there's going to be a lot more.
Is he the dog whisperer?
Yes, he's the dog whisperer, but it was interesting. Go explain how you did that.
Well, the book, by the way, is just a bunch of stories that I wrote over 20 years. And I didn't plan on making it into a book. I just had all this stuff, and I ended up, some people encouraged me to try and organize it and put in a book. That's what the book is. And during that time that I wrote those essays, we had this crazy dog, if you've been around terriers, we have wire fox terrier, and they are juiced all the time and really hard to train. And my daughters called me from college. They were at college. This dog was like 10 years old. And they said, Dad, have you seen this guy on TV? The dog whisperer. I'm like, no, man. So I turn him on. And Caesar, he's like brilliant at taking these crazy dogs and getting him to calm down. And, I talk about it in the book. He has a couple of taglines, you have to use calm, assertive energy, right? When you are dealing with these dogs. So I don't know. I'm teaching tennis every day, and I immediately associated that. I'm like, wait a minute. I've got these kids that are, can get a little worked up. Why am I not using these dog training techniques? So I went into staff meeting, with the guys that week, and I'm like, guys, let's give this a shot. We're gonna, we're gonna do dog training techniques with these kids.
Yeah, you can extrapolate that. That makes sense. Yeah, I mean, it's just a technique. It doesn't matter if it's a person. Yeah. So
I mean, I don't know if you guys have watched the show, but I mean, the guy is just sharp.
I've seen the show. Yeah, I've seen that show.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. So I mean, did you have? I mean, and you just walked around the whole time with a pocket full of treats? I mean, did that? With there, I mean, you're outside. Isn't that a lot of bugs?
Bill, here's where it really helped is when Caesar. It's been a number of years since I was wrote that stuff and was watching Caesar a lot, but he'd go into a house where there's just a really, a Doberman that's aggressive and they've got a 3-year-old in the house, right? And what really helped me is he had a concept that I really liked. He said, if you have to match your energy to their energy, meaning there are times if you've got a Doberman that's dangerous and you got the 3-year-old, and Caesar would walk into the room and he would just see the dog's eyes turn to the 3-year-old. I mean, he would kick ass right then. I mean, he would correct that dog assertively. He'd be calm, but he was assertive. And that really helped me because, I wanted to be able to deal with kids.
He was really tuned in, though. You got to be really attuned to what's going on, right? He could see that before anybody else.
And can't you hear the analogy there?
Yeah, yep.
For coaching and parenting.
Yep.
Am I fully engaged? Like Caesar, when you watch him around dogs, you're like, how did he know they were going to go off? And he'd go, oh, well, did you see their left ear move like a half an inch? And I never watched that before. And so I started watching my dog and he got, we started working on him. He got a little bit better. He was 10 years old already, but better late than never. And
we could use some of this on TED.
Yeah. Well, Bill. It's funny you should mention that because one time I was golfing and someone whispered to me that I sucked at golf, and I cried a little bit, and then
that was me.
Oh, that was you, and then I pulled up my big boy pants and soldiered on. So
Yeah, but you lost. Okay, so Bill, let me ask you this then: with all the things you're doing, and you were coaching for 30 years, okay?
Yeah.
How I know the concept is how much better were you, say in 10 years or 20 years after coaching, but what's kind of the thing that stood out, like when you look at yourself as Bill Schillings, who started coaching in you started your academy 1998 or 1989, something like that, right?
89, yeah.
89.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
So when you were just about done, just before you kind of stopped doing it, I mean, what are the things that really stood out to you that you changed, how you changed as a coach? And maybe some of the things that could help a parent or somebody who's going to coach now. What are the things that you changed that you think that really stood out to you?
Probably the biggest thing, we kind of hit on it a little bit, is early on when I'd be dealing with kids that were really challenging. Is I of course I hadn't done it long enough to see how they turned out 10 years later. If you have a 12-year-old and now, I deal with people, I talk to former students here in Charlotte, all the time, and they're great people. And some of them were really, really tough kids to coach. So I think, number one, it just helped me to have a longer term perspective. I learned things like calm, assertive energy, paying, I was always pretty detailed as a coach, pretty organized and stuff, but I learned to kind of refine that process a little bit. The longer you do it, the better you get at reading people. You get not only the kids, but also the parents. So, it's just like anything. You do, like you guys, you do a podcast for a long time, you get better at podcasting,
Well, let's not go
right?
crazy now.
No, it's not-
Damn it.
It's not
Actually,
true.
I don't learn from my mistakes.
Oh man, that is, you know what? That's a terrible analogy because I feel like we've gotten way crappier at this. Okay, so one of the things I want to ask you about, you use the term a coaching moment. Okay, I was kind of looking at that. What's a coaching moment when you see something? Because
Is that
I
like
think
a
a
is that
parent.
like a teachable moment?
Well, I mean, when a parent, maybe there's a parent out there or a coach again who wants to do something, right, and they wanna help a little bit instead of being that negative influence. They want to help. So what's a coaching moment? When did you feel it? Like, what is it?
The example I used in the book was just a moment in clinic where there were two kids and they were playing and it was a kind of an out of the ordinary competitive situation. As I remember, it was like a 16-year-old girl playing an 11-year-old boy, right? And sometimes we purposely design clinics like that where you just have these kind of weird situations. But interestingly enough, they were pretty much really well matched. And the coaching moment there was I knew it was going to take both players way out of their comfort zones. Whenever people are outside their comfort zones, that's where you start to pay attention to, all right, these could be a really good opportunity here because they're going to be uncomfortable. And anytime they're uncomfortable, positive things can happen. And I think
like that. That's good. Yeah.
That's where I think people, parents, coaches, whatever, when we see things going wrong, we tend to, especially if we're like emotionally attached to outcomes as parents or coaches, and we see problems happening, we immediately go, oh my gosh, something's wrong here that needs to be fixed. Okay. And and this is another thing I've learned, I guess you asked, what have I learned over the years? Like, I've learned to think of it that way. I'm like, no, man, this is really good because it's going to give me an opportunity. Do you know when people are most receptive is when they're most uncomfortable because they want help? The best time of year for me was always right in early June before the biggest junior tournament of the year was coming up. And boy, in clinic during that week, I mean, you could hear a pin drop when I said anything about tennis. The rest of the year, they're all wandering around. But boy, when they know that big tournament's coming up and there's going to be some discomfort, you've got real opportunities to coach then.
It's funny.
So you're always trying to create that.
Yeah, so create that like sense of urgency. So if you could somehow replicate that during kind of like the doldrums or when there's nothing important on the horizon, if you can kind of create that atmosphere. What's the expression? Practice harder than you play. I've heard this expression: winners are execution orientated, losers are results orientated. I mean, those are all coaching axioms. I mean, I don't always say the word loser, but but like I said, I think the theme, like you said, so I think people who are too sensitive, hypersensitive to every ebb and flow of the game, regardless of what sport you're playing, I think they have a tendency to fail because they just can't get past it. Like you said, in sports, you have to have a short memory, right? Whether you just struck out 3 times in a row, had 3 hits in a row, it's all about. I hate this expression, trusting the process, right? Trust the process. Everything should be the same. The routine, just like, everyone has a routine no matter what sport it is. So that's
I mean, that's there's a whole chapter in here that I called, process versus outcome. And it starts to become cliche because people say it so much. I think the question is like, how do you get into the details of when you say process? You said it really well. I like that. The whole, winners think about outcome and winners think about execution and losers think about outcome. And
no, I think Ted said advice is like pornography.
That was before you came on.
You might have missed that part. so and here I want to just kind of a thought here because I wanted to share this part and I'm glad Jackson's not here, but. My son played baseball in high school, and he played a couple of years in college. And for the 2 years he played in college, he was hurt. He tore his labrum in his shoulder. Then he screwed up his knee, and basically those 2 years he just never played. He was so close to playing and all that kind of stuff. And I remember that time when he came up to me and he said, listen, I think I want to transfer. I don't want to play baseball anymore. And I actually, I mean, I think it was really tough for him because I actually felt like he thought I was disappointed in him, right? For not going through this anymore. And I think is that kind of a common thing for kids that they continue to kind of do this stuff, and they're so worried about their parents' disappointment. Because if I could share that the one thing with them is I think my favorite thing that I did was, hey man, it's your choice. You decide what you're going to do. I'm completely fine with it. I love you either way, whatever it is. But are some parents so, out of touch with that their kids can't say that to them? Is that a thing you've seen?
For sure. And that's another, coming back to the book, what I think happened for me, because I did it so long, is I started to observe, like, when you work with kids and you're working with their families, especially the way we did it. We'd have a kid, I'd coach a kid for say 6 years. So you kind of become a part of the family, and you learn from talking to the parents so much, like the dynamics of that family. And what you just said was beautiful, especially because I could tell your kid that was genuine, right? You were saying it in such a way that your kid is genuinely hearing that, but he's not only just hearing it, but if you're living that out, and genuinely your kid knows that you love them no matter what. Well, that's probably the best gift you can give them. I mean, in life, but if we're talking sports, because now they don't have that extra baggage. In your son's case, thinking about, hey man, I think I might want to stop playing. Or if it's a couple years before when he is playing, it's like, hey, no matter what happens tonight, dad's going to be okay with me as a human being. And that's where that's the reason I wrote it, is like, sometimes I'd be around kids and I could tell when I'm watching their parents, parents can talk all they want about, hey, just try your hardest, honey, but they're not showing it, like how they act. And, the talking is secondary. It's like how you are. And it's heartbreaking sometimes. And then you'd see the impact, because I've gotten to see, I've gotten to see some kids that they grew up, and some of their characteristics and qualities they're still living dynamics that were established with their parents as kids. And I mean, it's just like crippled them. There's a line in that movie. You guys remember that movie, Remember the Titans?
Yeah, of course.
Remember the movie?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Famous
classic movie. Some of the scenes in there just blew me away from a coaching standpoint. And at one point, Denzel Washington's character says, and if you remember, there was a coach, his assistant, and his assistant was coddling Petey, the star player on the team. And Denzel brings him into the coach's office the next day, and he chews him out. And the guy says, I'm just trying to encourage the kid. And he said, man, you're coddling this kid. You're enabling this kid. And if you keep doing that, you're crippling him for life. And I thought, crippling him for life. Wow. Because I had seen some of these kids, not a lot, but a couple of kids I knew, now they're in their 20s and early 30s. And I kind of knew they were insanely good at tennis, but they had really dysfunctional parenting world going on as they were in the sport. And I just think it has the potential to really cripple your kid. But on the flip side, it has the potential to just be unbelievably beautiful, because sports gives you that opportunity to be with your kid.
Can you guys hang on a second? I got to run home real quick.
You gonna go hug your kid?
I gotta go. No, I gotta go.
I already hugged him.
I need to go.
I already hugged him, Mark.
That okay. No, that sparks. That is incredible reference in the movie, and great advice. It's awesome. It totally is. And I used to tell my kid all the time, I still do to this day. He says, why are you doing that? And I'm like, well, why are you pointing that out, not this? I'm like, well, what do you want me to lie to you? I'm not gonna tell you about all the good. We all know the good you did, but I'm gonna point out some things that I think you could do better. But he was always like, you're always talking about the negative, not the positive. I'm like, well, the positives are great, and we talk about that at another time, but I immediately want to address the negatives now while they're in my mind, fresh on. Here's what you did wrong. Address it right now. And then later on, we talk about, oh, dude, it was awesome, it was great. But you gotta kind of nip some stuff in the bud before you forget.
See, and I would say the things that I learned, I think everybody knows, and Bill, you probably know this. People know what they've done wrong, right? There's very few times that especially as you get older, that you need to point out what somebody did wrong. Like if I'm playing golf with my buddies, or you're out playing tennis or pickleball, which is the worst thing in the world.
But it's the new rage. It's the new rage.
I understand that. But we know what we've done wrong. The last thing I need is somebody to point it out to me. I really don't. I know that. You know what I need, and it's one of the things that you talked about is now at this point, I need a way for my parent to constructively help me, if they're going to say anything, to constructively help me rather than, the vague generalities, to give me some kind of helpful advice. I don't need somebody to tell me that I suck.
Yeah, if I didn't know we were going here, I probably would have pulled out one of my favorite books. I refer to it in my book. It's called The Talent Code, and a guy named Daniel Coyle. And he has a section in there on John Wooden where they went and studied how he interacted with his players. And these stats aren't going to be right, but it was something like 80% of the time he didn't say anything. He just didn't say anything. He just let the kids play. And then a very short amount of time, he would give them a positive reinforcement. He'd say, hey, you passed that ball just at the right time. That's the way to do it. Keep doing that. But then when he would give them and we always call it a corrective technique, right? Rather than, hey, you know, what is wrong with you? You got to quit making that many errors. That's like so lazy as a coach. And to me, you do what John Wooden would have done, which is like, hey, you pass that ball at the wrong time. You need to look for this guy over here and look at that situation. He's going to give you a corrective technique, not just, obviously you can say it was a negative. Yeah, you screwed that up, but he's going to pick and choose the moments and give you some specific positive things to do to make the correction. That's the kind of coach like I responded to. And I'm like you, Matt. I mean, I would always, a buddy of mine who was a professional tennis player used to say this. We talk about sports parents. He said, yeah, if we could just get the parents out on the court and let them do clinic and get them rotating up and down the ladder, as they get how hard it is, and I don't know, it can get pretty intense and detailed. It really takes a lot of focus to be a good coach or a good parent.
That's an interesting concept, to have the parents. You know what? I mean, I'm just I'm spitballing this, but it would be great to have the parents go through that and then have the kids, right? Have the kids there and see how the kids react to what their parents are doing and give them a chance to critique their parents and just to feel what that's like, to have someone that clearly, is going to focus on, what would they focus on? Would they focus on the things that their parents did well, or would they focus on the things that their parents didn't do well? That's an interesting concept.
Yeah, I think it comes down to that whole concept, seek to understand before trying to be understood. And that's a principle from that book years ago, Stephen Covey's book, that 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, that did so well. And I love that principle in coaching or in parenting. It's like, am I really trying to understand my kid and what's going on here? Or am I just reacting to, my needs, my emotions, how I'm feeling? And that's what I mean about coaches who yell all the time. I'm like, man, make some effort here. It's so easy to yell and it's so easy to critique. It's a lot harder to step back from it and go, all right, what is do the Caesar Milan thing. What is happening with this little puppy right here?
I love in sports.
What is going on?
In sports,
then we can coach them.
In sports, what you could do is in sports you could take notes during a game, mental notes, and then you incorporate practices based on deficiencies that the team's having during the games. We did that a lot. Like if they're struggling with the press, they were struggling with a certain press or, whatever, you can't yell at the kids. They're being, attacked by something they've never seen before.
Right.
It's frustrating, but you're like, you know what? I know we got an answer for it, but, here's what you do now. But they work through it. But then the next practice, that's all we do. And sometimes you don't have to say anything during the game because the next practice is going to focus on those deficiencies, and they get it.
Well, when do you roll up the newspaper and swat him in the nose?
No.
At what point? I mean, no, that's not a thing?
No.
Oh, damn it.
Not anymore.
Okay, so I'm throwing. I get one newspaper a year, and I keep it just to roll it up. Yeah, and smack my son on the nose with it.
Nice.
Yeah, because if I did that to my daughter, even though she's what, 5 feet tall and 100 pounds, she'd probably slaughter me.
Savannah's got a bigger paper in the back pocket.
Yeah, she would. Yeah, no, she's got a knife or a gun. Yeah, I guarantee that. All right, so Bill, I don't know if you ever listened to the end of the show, but what we do is at the end of the show, we let everybody have their last words, and we never, ever, ever make our guests go first. So I would not do that. Okay, so Teddy, your last thoughts. We got to wrap this thing up. Your last thoughts on today's show?
Yeah, Bill, thanks for being on. Like I said, I think the overall theme is that, especially when you're coaching kids, especially younger kids, it's all about positive reinforcement, not really pointing out the negatives, but just, like I said, corrective techniques where highlight the positives that they did. And then if there is a negative, don't frame it as a negative, but just rather gently point them in the right direction versus the Bobby,
kicking them in the ass as hard as you can.
The Bobby Knight, drill sergeant,
I hate
scream
Bobby
and
Knight.
yell,
I hate Bobby Knight.
throw the chair in the middle of the court. That's just so. Or Mike Ditka, old school coach from the 19. Just someone who's from a bygone era. I mean, we're in a new era now, and kids, like I said, kids are sensitive. Kids need positive reinforcement, right? It's just that simple.
Yeah, but they've been okay. Yeah. Oh, sorry. All right.
Not
Mark,
me, but
Mark. Last thoughts.
My last thoughts are I'm on the end now. My kids are older. They're done playing. My youngest is still playing high school, but he's almost done. When they're younger, just enjoy it. You don't even have to cheer them on. Like toward the last few years, I don't even cheer. I just enjoy it. I just sit there with a smile on my face, bad or good. I just sit there.
It's a blast.
We were in the playoffs last year, this past season, and it was a big freaking game. And my buddy Mark he's like, do you want me to sit by you? I'm like, of course I do. Why would I want you to sit by me? He's like, because I know if it was my son, I wouldn't want to be sitting next to anybody I know. I'm like, dude, this is fucking the best. This is awesome. No, sit here. And I was like, no, I'm soaking this in, man. He's got 2 more years left. Win, lose, or draw. It's all about just being here in the moment and enjoying it. It goes by fast. Bill, you know how fast it goes, right?
Yeah, for sure.
It's crazy.
For sure.
Just enjoy it, man. Love them for who they are and just sit back and enjoy the moment.
Absolutely. All right, Bill, last thoughts. What do you want to leave us with?
Well, Mark, I just, what really comes to mind if you say last thoughts is I told you this book that I like so much called The Talent Code. This guy, Daniel Coyle, wrote it. And as it turned out, he came to Charlotte after the book came out years ago. And I ended up, he gave a great presentation, and he talked about they doing studies with kids and what they was most productive for them to hear from their parents and what was most unproductive. And the number one thing the kids said was they loved when their parents said, I just love to watch you play.
Yep.
I just love to watch you play. And that kind of sums, Mark, what you just said is like, can you genuinely show your kid that you just love to watch them play, period, right? Now, the trick, and this is kind of why I wrote the book, is now your first question, because I've shared that with parents before, and they're going to go, yeah.
But.
Yeah, no.
Right?
Yeah.
I had one mom say, when I told her that basic thing, she said, so you just want me to let them do whatever they want?
Yeah.
Whenever they want to do it? And that's the trick, because that's what she heard when I said that. Because she had a kid that needed some direction and some guidance and some negative, some corrective techniques. And that's kind of why I wrote the book, we can all say, yeah, we need to love our kid and be encouraging and tell them we love to watch him play. And that's all true. But then when you're down in the weeds, man, and your kid, hey, you've got a kid who could be a national level so-and-so or play college sports. This is not an easy place to be as a parent because you have a responsibility to create an environment where they can thrive. And how to create that environment takes a little bit of effort. And so that would be my last word. That's kind of why, I said what the subtitle, creating an environment is what you're trying to do. You can't
Yeah.
make it happen, but you sure can create a great environment. And coming back to it, if ultimately all you did was say, I love to watch you play, that's a good start.
Yeah.
That is awesome, and you know what, and that's why when I contacted you, when I saw the book, and I looked through it, and I contacted you, I'm like people need to talk about this stuff, right? Because I think there's this weird, insane focus, right? And you just gotta enjoy it. There is I was a pretty good 16-inch softball player. Okay. I'm in the 16-inch softball Hall of Fame.
Oh, you owe me $1.
Yes. Oh, every time
Owe
I
me
say
$1.
it. But here's the deal: as soon as my daughter stopped playing, I coached her for a long time. When she played softball, just park league softball with the greatest team. Those girls and the parents were absolutely fantastic. But she stopped. When my son started playing, I stopped playing softball altogether, and I just went to go watch his games, and I loved every fucking second of it. I did. When it was freezing cold and it was 30 degrees and it was snowing and he played half a game, I drove an hour and a half to go watch him play, and I drove an hour and a half back. And if he got one at bat, we talked about how awesome it was, right? And we talked about winning, and we talked about losing, and we talked about so many things in all that time. And it wasn't even about watching him play. It was about going with him. It was about being there afterwards. It was about all the tournaments and stuff we did and all the cool shit that we did and going to see all these different places and spending all that time with him. It really was one of the most spectacular times of my life, and I have that forever. And yeah, whatever happened, I mean, sometimes he won, sometimes he lost, sometimes he played great, and sometimes he didn't. But it didn't really matter, right? It didn't really matter because we had all that time together. So this is what I would tell everybody. Listen, put your kids into sports, whatever sport it is, and leave work early, okay? Don't do whatever you were going to do and just go watch them play. And then go have ice cream afterwards or go have pizza afterwards, or like what we do with my daughter's team. After every game, we'd have a coaches meeting in our backyard, and it was just the kids would get to eat pizza or whatever, or barbecue, and we would get shit stewed drunk and have fun and bullshit. So do that, because that's really what sports is about. And if your kid gets struck by lightning or becomes a professional athlete, awesome. It's the greatest thing that will ever happen to you, I guess. But if they don't, you have all that other stuff that just makes life so fantastical. And it really is. It really is that thing. Bill, thanks so much for being on the show.
Bill.
Yeah,
Thanks, Bill.
yeah, you're absolutely
Thanks, guys.
you're absolutely awesome. I'll leave this with everybody. Listen all the time. I don't know. Like us. Get on there. Give us.
You don't have to love us. That's a commitment. Like us.
Yeah,
We're just dating.
No one's.
We're just dating. We're not engaged. We're not engaged. Okay, so we're not moving in with you.
Listen, enjoy it. Tell your friends about it, and we will see everybody next week.